Hi everybody, it's 3 o'clock. Welcome to Go Local Live here in the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center. I'm your host, Rachel Nunes, our first guest today. Very exciting, it's summer vacation, but he's still hard at work. Vince Watchorn, head of school at Providence Country Day. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me today. I really appreciate it.
So he's here to talk to us about a really exciting collaboration the school is doing with the National Association of Independent Schools. They're becoming a lab school. Tell us about it. What's going on?
Well, it was a surprise to me in the spring when I received a phone call from someone at the National Association of Independent Schools, which is it's a collection of about 1,500 schools across the country. Represents our field, and they said that they were starting a program called the Lab School program, where they wanted to pick a few schools to help co-create and drive innovation in schools. And that they were asking Providence Country Day School to be one of just 5 in the nation that they were going to have in that program.
That's so impressive, and you guys are the only in New England as well.
It was very flattering. We are the only ones in New England, and then the others. There's 2 from New York, 1 from D.C., and 1 from Michigan.
And so what made Providence Country Day stand out and make the grade?
It's funny, I asked that question. And one of the things that they said that they had really focused on in making their selection of the 5 schools was that they were looking for schools that they thought could be bold in creating new improvements for schools. And so I think they were looking at track record about putting programs in place and doing things that were very much reflective of today's thinking about how kids learn and do things.
And so tell us a little bit about the program. You said before that you guys are you're figuring out this is a pilot program, so of course got to wait until the school year to really start implementing it. But what's the idea of the program?
Well, as you say, it is brand new, so we are still finding out and still learning, and it's a co-creation process, which I'm learning about itself. I think the association very wisely didn't want to sit in the dark somewhere and create a bunch of ideas that they could then say, here you are, schools, we want you to find out about all these things. Instead, they wanted to co-create, develop ideas together with some schools who are actually in the business of practicing education and doing the kinds of things that the association wants to explore. So driving innovation is what it's all about. So I think we're going to be coming up with new ideas about how to do things in schools and think about schools and the way we raise kids and interact with our communities.
So each program then is going to be tailor-made to each of these 5 schools. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach.
That's my sense, is that it's not one-size-fits-all, but that they're going to be guiding us through some thought process together so that we can build ideas and then work on implementing them so that they can then be shared with other schools.
So do you see this process coming out more in like a macro level in the approach of the teachers and how you train, or more on the student level, like changes in programs and new things like that?
I think time will tell as we get into the whole program and find out more about what Lab School is all about. But I do think what brought us to their attention is the way that we have dealt with kids and implemented student programs. We have a strategic plan that is based largely in the way we teach and understanding the way kids learn. Inquiry-based learning, the idea that instead of just standing in the front of a classroom and giving kids information, that's not really the best education you can find. What we want to be able to do is spark imagination in kids and make them kind of ignite with curiosity about how they can learn about things. And in the last couple of years, we've been able to put a lot of different pieces together relatively quickly about how kids can do that and how our teachers can lead from the side in some ways and get into project-based learning and real-life experiences and things like this that I think is what caught their eye about this.
Great, and so it's going to be a little bit of everything then, like some changes to all levels and just a different approach.
I think a different approach and developing new ideas.
Great.
And I think for the classroom, but also about how schools work and communicate and how we understand our parent community as well and approach learning. Yeah.
Great. That's awesome. Yeah. And so tell us a little bit about the school as well. You guys, you're 6 through 12. What's going on at Providence Country Day?
Sure.
What else is happening?
Sure. We are in our 95th year. We were founded in 1923.
Wow.
In East Providence, Rhode Island, and we are, as you said, grades 6 through 12. One of the things I love about this time of year at Providence Country Day is that we have our summer camp happening, and we have more than a 30-acre campus, and about a dozen of those acres are outdoor woodlands. So we see kids in the summertime, romping through the woods and exploring, and then we have one camp that associates art with nature at the same time. It's very interesting to see those things combine in very much the way that Leonardo da Vinci had in mind. And that camp actually grows out of a Nature Lab program that we have during the school year, where I mentioned before about real life experiences. The kids will learn about some of their outdoor science lessons from a book, but then they also have a chance to get out into the woods and into real nature and really study things that are there. Right now we have a lot of different birds that are in their first flight, and so you see the campers out looking at that, and that's real learning.
It is. It's a great time of year to explore nature in Rhode Island.
Exactly, and we like to explore it all year long. So that's one thing that's really exciting. I think that looking at a couple of the different partnerships that we have, we've developed a partnership with the Rhode Island Fencing Academy, which is really exciting.
Interesting.
There's a lot of kids who love to fence in Rhode Island, and we're developing a program particularly in our middle school, but it'll grow up through the upper school. That's something that I think people are going to get really excited about as an alternative sport.
It is, yeah. It's not a sport you'd think of when you think of your traditional varsity sports, but it's definitely an interesting sport. And it's great to give kids an opportunity to explore different options like that. And so what other summer programs do you offer? Is it for kids of all ages? Is it primarily for students?
Primarily for student age kids. It's for kids who are about 5 to 12 or 13. The art and nature camp, the art and exploration camp that I mentioned is a very significant camp for us. Also, our culinary camp gives kids a chance to really explore a different type of the art world.
That's fun.
The culinary arts are something that we like them to explore in the summer. And then we also have an affiliation with the Boston Red Sox, where their youth camp is held on the Providence Country Day School campus as well.
Great. So you could be training the Boston Red Sox players of tomorrow.
Yes, absolutely. The next home run hitter could be coming from PCD.
All right. Well, everyone, keep an eye out for that. And so, do you have any new exciting programs or things like that coming up in the next year? Besides, of course, the big innovation project.
Yeah, that's right. One of the things that we're most excited about at PCD, we've just created about 20 different elective classes. We've shifted the junior and senior year, so that instead of taking one English class all year or all senior year, we now have 20 different electives, and I think this is where some of the most interesting thinking is happening. We have, at the high level, the kids who are at the calculus level and above in mathematics, they're going to be able to take cryptology as an elective.
That sounds so interesting.
Doesn't it? And we have history through fiction, and we have one course that's going to be taught on poetry and coding. So we're actually doing analysis of poetry through computer coding.
Wow,
and then understanding it in a technological way as well.
That's really cool. That's such a great way to really cross the genres, because normally you think, oh, he's good at math, he's good at reading and literature and stuff like that, and it's cool to have that cross-dimensional learning.
But here it combines, and one of the ones I'm most excited about is a class called The Future, where we're just going to be looking at things that could happen in the future, maybe taking today's newspaper and extrapolating out what could happen next and next and next based on that. But it's all driven around this idea of not just developing graduates from high school who are going to go on to be graduates of college, but really graduating engaged citizens who are going to go into the world and be creators, thinkers, and innovators in our society and make the world a better place.
That's great. And so, building off that a little bit, like, let's say I'm either a prospective student, prospective parent. What would you say? Why PCD as opposed to other schools or public schools? What makes you stand out?
I think one of the things that makes us stand out is the community of the school, the attitude of the place. We are small by choice. So no one goes in there trying to get lost. Anybody who comes to PCD is going to be paid attention to as a whole child, a whole individual. They're going to be known really, really well. They're going to be encouraged to be their best self. They're going to be encouraged to do well in courses. They are going to, it's a very strong, vigorous education. But along the way, there's a lot of help. Because we want people to be able to feel successful, be successful, and know who they are as a person. I think one of the most exemplary things that we have at PCD is this program called the Compass, which allows us to think about college counseling. But it starts in 9th grade, not at all about college counseling, but asking kids to think about their futures and think about themselves and their goals. So they're getting to know themselves so that by the time they get to the college counseling process, it's not the first time they're thinking about their future.
It's not the big scary question of what are you going to do with your life.
And that helps us create a system of balance and not being a pressure cooker around that college counseling topic. We want people to be able to find the right fit for them in a terrific school, the one that works for them. That means they have to know themselves well, they have to know what they want, and our kids go to great places. But it's important to start by knowing yourself.
It definitely is, and that's such a great approach. I know, but when I was in high school, it was, what are you going to do? Like, I don't know.
Right.
I'm 17. I don't know.
Right. I'm trying to get to the day.
Exactly. One day at a time.
Yeah, we try to help kids get through not just the day, but through the week, the year. And we have a really interesting annual theme every year, which gives us a chance to talk about how we fit as individuals into society, and particularly about identity. Last year our theme was empathy. Next year coming up, it's respect. So this gives us a chance, and we take an hour every day to be a community. It's called community time, and kids have a chance to be together and be with their friends and get extra tutorial if they need it, and do student-driven things like clubs and assemblies. And that's where we talk about a lot of this identity theme that we have, which is, as I said, this year is respect. So we'll have speakers come in. We have a lot of time where we can talk with each other about what respect means to us, and how we can exemplify being respectful to others as well.
What a wonderful approach. Yeah. That's really great. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely.
We really appreciate it. We all look forward to finding out with you as what your new program is and how it's going to build into the great scholars of tomorrow.
We're excited to be a part of the Lab School project with NAIS, and I think it is going to help us continue doing what we do best, which I think is providing an education that sets kids free instead of locking them in.
Well, that sounds absolutely great. Congratulations to you and your school. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Vince Washorn, head of school at Providence Country Day. And stay with us. We'll be right back with our next guest in just a few minutes here on GoLocal Live. Hey everyone, welcome back to GoLocal Live here in the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center. I'm your host, Rachel Nunes. Here with us now, Shane Matlock, founder and owner of the Burgundian. Welcome. Happy first anniversary.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for being with us. So tell us a little bit about the Burgundian 1 year in.
Yes, 1 year in. Wow, it's we've had quite a few changes and a lot of growth in the last year. It's looking back, it's really interesting to see how far we've come, and I sometimes can't believe it's been a year. But you know, the Burgundian, again, for those of you who don't know, we specialize in Liège waffles. We're Rhode Island's first specialty waffle company, but a Liège waffle.
What's the difference between your run-of-the-mill Bisquick waffle and a Liège waffle? I'm sure they're oceans apart.
Oh yeah, they're night and day. And speaking of oceans apart, I was in the Army, and I lived over in Belgium on the border of France and Belgium. So this whole World Cup thing's got me all in a tussle. But so living over there, I discovered these things called a Liège waffle, and what they are, it's a dough-based waffle, much more like a brioche donut dough. And it's risen with yeast overnight. So I tell people, kind of my line is that if a brioche donut dough and a fried dough had a love child, and then
sounds delicious.
Oh, it's so good. And then it's mixed with these little pearl sugars that caramelize on the outside of it. So it's denser, chewier, yet it has this nice fluffiness from all the yeast. And it's so delicious, and it's a lot heartier of a waffle. So it kind of stands up to sweet and savory options. So we do all sorts of, fried chicken, chorizo plantain hash. We do, pork belly, char siu, and anywhere in between, and then a bunch of course, sweet stuff with, brulee bananas. And so we've really expanded our menu. We have a full-time, very experienced chef on our staff. So we get a little crazy with it.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
And now I just want to try everything on the menu.
As you should, and we encourage that. We're always taking followers and groupies and what have you.
So you guys, I know you do a lot of pop-ups, a lot of partnerships with local businesses. Do you have your own location?
We don't have our own location yet. There's one thing we can't quite talk about just yet, so please stay tuned for that, coming to downtown Providence. But what we've also done is we've bought a food truck recently, which should be on the road here in about 3 weeks.
And you're going to come park it right in front of the GoLocal.
Right in front, right here.
Right here in the office.
And we're just going to sling waffles. What we're also going to do out of there is actually do what's called the Brussels waffle. So that's also, that's kind of the batter-based waffle in Belgium. It's somewhat of the ancestor that led to what we call the Belgian waffle. So we'll do both types. Borealis coffee, we'll have nitro and cold brew, all those different things.
Sounds delicious.
One of the things is I'm sure a lot of people have heard about is also our double-decker bus. We started a Kickstarter in January, and so that's still being worked on. It's a little slow go, and of course during the World Cup, the English they kind of paused work for about a month, and but that's all getting worked on. They're putting the tables in right now, so that should be coming hopefully in late fall if everything goes as planned. But it's all getting done over in England, getting shipped over here on a bus. So we've got a food truck, we've got a bus, we've got a potential location.
A food truck bus hybrid, kind of like a cafe and food truck in one?
Exactly. So it's seating, tables, everything on the top floor. It's a full cafe on the bottom floor. So you can come in, espresso machine, drip coffee, cold brew, nitro. We'll have from Leafy Green Tea, we'll be doing their nitro tea. And then of course we'll be doing delicious waffles. And then on the second floor, there's going to be tabletops and bar stools. The wood is actually used. It's reclaimed wood that's older than our country, which I think is absolutely cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So have a little piece of history.
Exactly. So it's everything that I do is very much kind of a European fusion with Americana, and so I always tell it's European inspired, American made, veteran built. That's kind of a little tagline we use.
So tell us a little bit about the Burgundian. It's an interesting name. Where does that come from?
Yeah, absolutely. So it goes back to the time whenever I lived in France and Belgium, and I really got into Belgian beer, not just drinking it, of course, which I did, but I bought books, I researched, I really toured around, and so there's this term that I found in a book called being a Burgundian, and it goes back to the time of Mary of Burgundy, so to the 1400s, when the Burgundians from Burgundy, France, reigned over Belgium and northern France. And the quote in the book was, "Someone who loves food and drink in both quality and quantity." And then I started asking my Belgian colleagues about it and said, is this actually a thing? Do people actually say Burgundian? And they said, oh yes, it's a way to have the drink with the friends. But basically it's a way to sit and stop what you're doing, enjoy food, enjoy drink, in a communal setting. And so that, I fell in love with that. I think it's the most evolved term. I think it's much more evolved than foodie or gourmand.
Definitely, it's a step further. I mean, foodie is a big fan, like, oh, I appreciate all the flavors and the different compliments, but I feel like that sounds like more of a lifestyle than a...
Exactly.
than an adjective.
Exactly. It definitely is a lifestyle. And it's something, you know, our hashtag, not to do a shameless plug, but our hashtag is We Are Burgundians, because I think deep down in all of us, there is a Burgundian in us that doesn't just love to take Instagram photos, which is great, that doesn't love to just eat, but loves the fact that community happens, that family happens, those type of things around the table, around food, around drink. So that's what being a Burgundian is all about.
That's great. I think we should all join the Burgundian lifestyle.
I think we should. Yeah.
So what other changes have you guys had in the last year besides just expansions and more pop-ups?
Absolutely. I mean, we've really grown to kind of what we've done. You know, we've started workshopping some different things. So we've started working on a buttermilk waffle wrap. So almost starting to take a gourmet sandwich concept and put that in the influence of waffles, kind of what we're known for. And then just getting around doing a lot of brunches, doing a lot of partnerships. So as you mentioned, we work with PV Donuts, and that's one of the best partnerships we've had. Is so we've created the Leslie Knope with a donut and a mini waffle with strawberries and whipped cream.
Can't get any better than that.
No, you can't. No, not at all. And it's just really working, expanding where we go. So now we're going all the way down to the South Coast. We go to Tilted Barn Brewery. We go to Sons of Liberty. We'll be doing a brunch there with, and one of the things that we're going to be opening the first time is it's called the Oaxacan on Sunday, and it's going to be an al pastor type of, get it, pastor? Sunday? Never mind. Anyway, we're doing a Sunday brunch, and so sort of a Mexican style theme, but it's really playing around with just the variants of ingredients that we feel can be showcased on top of a delicious waffle. Yeah.
So of course not wanting to share any trade secrets, as you said, very hush hush, but what's next for you guys?
So what's next? Of course, the food truck launched in a few weeks, but you know, we love and we want to be in downtown Providence, and so we're working on a project that we can actually be here, and so it's almost taking our influence of what we've done, all these little pop-ups all over the state, all over southern Massachusetts, and almost trying to draw that string together, draw that bond together, so we can almost, for lack of a better term, grow from this little startup business to actually be a full-fledged brand recognized business where people can come visit us where we're at. They can hire our double-decker bus for a wedding. They can bring our food truck to a corporate event, but really just be a full-fledged kind of service business doing something that nobody else is really doing. And so that's kind of where we're headed this next year. And then we've got a few tricks and ideas up our sleeve for the next 3 to 5 years. But that's really where we're focused this next year, hiring a few more people to really be part of the Burgundian team and see where it goes. Yeah.
So for the time being, for now, where can we find you? Just keep an eye out for pop-ups, or you mentioned like things like weddings and catering. Do you do stuff like that now, or
we
not
do?
Just
Absolutely,
yet?
Absolutely. So we did a catering event in the South Coast this last weekend, just north of Kingstown, and then we're going to be doing one in West Warwick. We do monthly pop-ups at Proclamation Ale, Long Live Beer Works, The Guild, Tilted Barn, and then we do brunches, like I mentioned, at Sons of Liberty and Whalers in the South Coast. We go to Borealis Coffee on Wednesdays once a week, so we do a lunch there from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. We work out of Hope in Maine, so that's a big piece. We always want to give back to this great organization that has helped us and so many other businesses start up. So we'll be doing that, and then you'll start seeing us at a lot of the food truck festivals and things in the area coming up very soon.
Definitely, this is the time of year for food trucks and outdoor eating and all the best things.
Oh yes, absolutely, and it's really, again, one of the reasons why you will see us so much at the breweries is I kind of want to disassociate the word waffle with breakfast, or just breakfast at least, and kind of reintegrate it with beer, just as the Belgians do. So we always tell people, drink beer and eat waffles, just as our Belgian forefathers intended us to do.
Sounds like a good plan.
Yeah. No, it's very exciting, and just a lot of really exciting things coming up for us and for our team. So we really do want everybody to kind of stay tuned and see what we have coming up over this second year in business. Absolutely.
And so it seems like lately here in Providence we have a really big donut scene. Like we've got Neat Donuts, we've got PV Donuts. I mean, of course, there's Allie's, the original
Of course,
down south,
of
but
course.
Providence seems to be really hitting a donut renaissance. How do you guys stand apart from that?
Well, that's a great point. And as I started this business, that's somewhat how I looked at the landscape and said, okay, I love these waffles since I moved into France in 2008. But I wasn't sure I ever wanted to necessarily do that. But as I looked at the landscape and I saw what was so unique about donuts, I mean, the craze is going off. I mean, you go to PV Donuts and
you can get anything.
You can get
Absolutely.
anything. There's a line out the door. And so I looked at the landscape and said, one, what would be a unique product that people really haven't had, that once they do have it, it would basically explode on the scene. And so I looked at this, it's almost a donut and a waffle, but what I think there are two main things that kind of separate what we're doing apart from this trend, and one is what we do, everything, wherever we go, we can cook our waffles to order. So we can set up on a little tabletop inside of a brewery or a coffee shop, and we can cook waffles directly right there. It's a lot harder to bring a large fryer and fry donuts.
That's true.
And then the second thing is, I think the way that the waffle's set up, the way that it's made, I think it's one of the most versatile products because, you know, I've had some amazing savory donuts, but I think the waffle for me really stands out, and it almost, you know, allows, you know, fried chicken and sausage gravy and all these different things that I don't think necessarily work as well on a donut. And I think people's mentality a little bit with what a waffle is allows them to kind of experience some of those flavors a little bit more on a waffle than on a donut.
That's true. The waffle's it's really the ultimate vehicle. You can do pretty much anything with it. Fold it in half, you got a waffle taco.
Exactly. It's perfect. It's perfect. And you know, we've been able to do waffle bagels, and we've done waffle donuts, and we've done, like I said, fried chicken and waffles. We've done a pork belly banh mi waffle sandwich with Rogue Island. That was another great partnership that we did, and yeah, it's great. So even now, what we're doing at the Pantry at Avenue N on the 21st of July is National Belgian Day. So, you know, the Belgians are very much known for the mussels and fries, a moule frite. So, you know, we're taking the fries out, but we're going to do this sort of cream French-style mussels on top of the waffle.
Sounds very
on
interesting.
Saturday the 21st, yeah. And then of course, we have August 24th. Everybody mark your calendars for International Waffle Day.
I didn't even know there was an International Waffle Day.
There's International Everything Day, pretty much.
That's true. And how are you guys celebrating? As of course, I'm sure you're having a blowout extravaganza.
We are. We're actually going to do a multi-state event. So we're going to have we haven't actually finalized the details yet for Rhode Island, and then in Massachusetts we actually just finalized in Southern Mass. We're doing a big event at Trillium Brewing, which is one of the biggest breweries in New England and in the United States right now. So basically, to kind of give our two demographics that really go after us, the beer and the Southern Mass crowd, and then the Rhode Island crowd, we have a big event that will be announced very soon. All
right, well, we'll be sure to check that out. Yeah. Last question, the most important, which waffle is your favorite?
Ooh, God, see, I knew you were going to ask me that. I think at the end of the day, my favorite waffle is the fried chicken. It's unbelievable.
Classic.
It's so good, and what we've done, you know, we hired a chef onto our team. And so he's very creative, and I kind of give him a lot of, I kind of push him on my just crazy mind and have him narrow it down on, okay, let's actually make that workable. So I said, I want some fried chicken with some sort of sweet mapley roasted chili pepper type of sauce. What do you have in mind? And so we decided to roast some ancho chili peppers, mix that into a maple butter, and put that over the fried chicken with some stout barbecue sauce. And it is absolutely phenomenal.
Sounds divine.
Yes, it is divine, and so yeah, gun to my head, that would be. I might just love the sauce so much I could just drink it.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations on your first anniversary. We're all very excited to see what happens next. Keep your eye out downtown Providence. Something may be coming soon. We'll all find out. And Shane Matlock, founder and owner of the Burgundians. Delicious waffles. Go check them out.
Oh, yeah.
We'll be right back here in the Navigate Credit Union Broadcast Center with our last guest of the day. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Navigate Credit Union Broadcast Center. We're here with our third and final guest of the day. She has flown right in.
She has.
Julie Latessa. She is the Assistant Director of Implementation for the Bell Summer Program. She's here to talk to us about Summer Learning Day in Providence Schools. First question is, why the outfit?
Why the outfit, Rachel? Well, first I want to thank you for having me here.
Thank you so much for coming in.
I buzzed in.
You did?
Yes. Well, actually, I took my car because my wing, I have an internal injury, and so I've been driving the car, and the scholars are like, why aren't you flying? But it is National Summer Learning Day, and the mayor proclaimed the day today. He was actually at one of our sites, and it's all about summer learning and having a great deal of fun in the summer so that we don't have backsliding.
And so you guys have partnered with a couple Providence schools. Which schools are you working with?
Yes, so the Providence School Department and the mayor came together, joined forces and said, okay, let's get summer learning going in the schools in Providence. So we're at 3 sites this summer. We're at Spaziano Annex, we're at Young Woods, and we're at Alfred Lima.
And so what kind of work do you do? You mentioned summer backslide.
Yeah.
What is that? Tell us a little bit about it.
Surely. So it's real, and research will support that. Most of the time, scholars, 80% of the time, they are not in school. So what we do, this is one of the things that Bell does, is we provide a rich learning opportunity for these scholars. We engage them in not only academics, but enrichment experiences. We provide them with field trips, we have guest speakers, we have college and career ready day, so that when they go back to school, they haven't forgotten what they have learned. I kind of say it's like a song just going on and on with no beat skipping.
And so students who don't necessarily take part in summer learning, they're more likely to be behind or not as prepared?
So what typically happens in urban areas is our scholars aren't given opportunities because of birthright. They're not provided with rich experiences and learning experiences. So sometimes they're already trying to catch up. So now if you let them alone for 2 months in the summer, they'll fall back, and it's like they have to catch up, but they were already behind. So as the time goes on, the gap grows larger and larger, and we don't want that to happen.
And so what kind of programs, what kind of learning do you focus on at these programs?
Great. So would you like to hear about a typical day?
Absolutely.
Okay. So a typical day at Bell is so much fun.
I can see that.
Yes! This is what Miss Julie, because I am Miss Julie Bell believer, because I believe in you, and I believe in all our Providence scholars. And Miss Julie likes to make a lot of noise, Rachel. And she likes to catch scholars.
Oh my.
Having fun learning.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
It is fun. So at 8 o'clock the scholars arrive, and we serve them breakfast, and this is at no cost to our families.
That's so great.
It is. It just touches my heart. And 8 to 8:20 they have breakfast, and then they engage in community time, which is really special for Bell because we incorporate a big social emotional piece. We empower our scholars, voice choice. So at a community meeting, they'll say our Bell's Pledge. We will also maybe give shout outs to maybe a scholar who tried something that might have been difficult for him. See, we hold ourselves to dear to our heart 5 core values: respect, collaboration, courage, learning, and experience. Excellence, excuse me. And so all those 5 core values are instilled in our day. And then at 8:30 they go to their academic teachers. And what I love about the Bell Summer Learning Program is there's a teacher assistant in every classroom. We call them clusters. Typically you only have a teacher assistant in a kindergarten classroom. So in our clusters we have 2 adults who are ready to engage in fun learning. We do a lot of projects, hands-on learning. 90 minutes we do English language arts, and we use wonderful and rich materials from Scholastic, and then 90 minutes we do math. Personalized learning, we have the scholars are using Chromebooks. They're actively engaged in small group instruction. That's evident in all that Bell does. Then it's lunch and recess. Academic teachers leave, and then we have enrichment teachers. So for our scholars to be engaged in dance, theater, music, visual arts, phys ed, those experiences are costly. And
Absolutely.
our scholars are afforded the opportunity to experience things that they might normally not be able to do.
A regular summer, you wouldn't have the opportunity to be able to do all of that.
Exactly. And then field trips. Oh, we have field trips this summer. So one of the trips that are going on is to Colt State Park, and we have a big obstacle course that'll be there next week for the scholars, a magician. We have a basketball challenge net, hoops. We have a bounce house, and all fun activities.
Sounds very fun.
Oh, we're going to the Paw Sox, and the mascots, Paw and Sox, they were both at opening day.
Oh, great.
And we're going to United States of America to skate, to laser tag, and to play in the arcade.
So all sorts of great experiences and activities.
Exactly. We're doing a big community service project too with the Providence Police Department. They are our friends, and they're back for their second year.
Wonderful.
We're going to collect pennies for police officers, and we are going to buy stuffed animals for children who might be in crisis situations. So
What a wonderful way to give back.
yes, it is. That's what it is. It's all about empowering our scholars and their families as well, and the adults working in the program.
And so how do students apply for this program?
So what I love about what Providence has done is Providence opened it up to any scholar who is in kindergarten through 4th grade. They have to be a Providence resident, and they have to either go to a Providence public school or a charter school. So we have 525 seats. We do have some seats available.
Great.
So if I can throw my number out, I'd love to, and people can call me, and we'll get them in the program as soon as possible.
Wonderful. We'll be sure to put that with the article as well, so anyone can sign up if they're interested.
Sure.
And so does the program go 5 days a week?
Yes, the program runs from July 9th, so we started on Monday, and it ends on August 10th with a big closing ceremony, and you know it's going to be fun, Rachel. And we arrive daily at 8, and we leave at 2:30 every day.
So it lets you have some time to just be a kid and hang out, but also learn and be ready for the next year as well.
Exactly, and what I love about the program is typically when you walk down a corridor in a school, you'll hear teachers or adults saying, pass, put your finger on your mouth, get in line. But at Bell, if you're walking down the corridor, you might hear chanting. You might hear cheers, and it's just scholars walking from point A to point B having a whole bunch of fun.
Sounds more like summer camp than school.
What it is it's a wonderful, rich learning environment where everyone is respected and empowered.
Sounds wonderful.
Thank
What a
you.
great way to spend the summer. And so what kind of benefits does it have for the kids who take part?
So there are benefits on so many levels. One of the pieces that I've noticed a lot within the last summer and this summer that I'm seeing already is the empowered scholars, the self-confidence, and the ability for them to take risks, and then for them to enjoy learning. They actually will say to me, Miss Julie, this is not school. And I'll say, but why? And they say, this isn't school, this is fun. And it's unfortunate that they think that way, but at our sites today, every adult was bugging out for summer learning. And everyone was costumed, and the scholars had a blast. We made healthy snacks. We made butterflies with bananas and pretzels and raisins. We made ants on a log. We made ladybugs out of strawberries and blueberries. It's just a fun way to learn.
Sounds like a lot of fun. Maybe I'll stop by and join the program.
Well,
Buzz for learning.
Buzz for learning, but Rachel, you're going to have to move and chant with us.
Let's try. I might have to get myself a headband.
Yeah, but this is true.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, telling us about the program. Sounds like a great experience. And if you're a Providence resident who has a kid who'd like to be part of the program, be sure to check it out. As she said, there are still some seats available. So Julie, thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, it has been a buzzing pleasure, Rachel.
Thanks so much for flying in.
Okay, thank you so much.
Well, thanks so much for joining us. And that does it for our show today. Be sure to tune in tomorrow at noon for our earlier show on Fridays. We have some great guests coming in for you, so be sure to check that out. And I'm Rachel Nunes right here in the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center. Thanks for joining us.